Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant. For the last 2 weeks of October, I hope you are well. I'm using the Wandering Moon Tarot for you today. Do I have anything to tell you? I don't think that I do. If you have not seen these videos before, I structure them slightly differently to the way that I do the main monthly readings, in so much as we are looking for the lesson, right? So we're coming at things from a slightly different perspective. I believe that there is wisdom, or, you know, a lesson contained within every interaction and experience that we have. And sometimes we can lose sight of that because we get bogged down with the minutiae of day-to-day activities, you know? So as an exercise in perspective, I find it quite useful to pull back and have a look and see, like, if I can work out why I'm in the energy that I am at the moment, right? Sometimes it's trying to show you something about yourself. Sometimes it's trying to clear something out of your life, you know. I won't know until the cards hit the table. But once you have sight of that, sometimes, well, most of the time, I think, it makes it a little less challenging to navigate it, right? You can see the point of it. So to that end, what I would do is pull 3 cards for where you are right now, and then 3 cards to see why you are in that energy at this time. And then we'll close out with 3 cards of advice, see if we can't help you navigate through it a little more easily. I hope that that makes sense. I'm sure it will by the end if you didn't follow. So let's get 3 cards, see where Taurus is right now, please. There's the first one. Cool. Wow. So we have the Death card. We have the Lovers card. Let's get one more for Taurus, please. I said one. Oh, feels like there's a lot going on with you at the moment, Taurus. Well, there it is. Oh, lordy. And it's Strength. You're the only sign that I've read for so far that's had 3 major arcana. In fact, I think most of them haven't had any. And we've got the Emperor at the bottom of the deck here, this Aries energy. Before I go any further, just the number of major arcana cards on the table tells me that the next couple of weeks are really, really important for you. There is a lot being processed, and we saw how so many of those cards were trying to jump out at once. I think for you, before I even start looking at the cards, cultivating a sense of peace and groundedness is absolutely critical for you moving forwards, because I think without that, it would be very easy to get lost in everything that's trying to go on for you at this point. So the Emperor card. Oh, we have the Ace of Stars, which is the Ace of Pentacles in a standard deck, and an ace that I love to see come out for Tauruses. This is about getting your house in order, Taurus, and you know, that might be your literal house, or it might be your figurative house. You know, it'll be different for each of you. But it's pulling everything back into you. Right? You've been quite spread out. There have been lots of things that have been trying to get your attention of late. And I think possibly for some of you, you've lost sight of the importance of your own personal well-being, right? Which is not to say, you know, you're not eating properly or you're not drinking properly, although some of you are not. I just heard that as I was talking. More, it's kind of use the energy of the Mercury retrograde, because that's what we're in at the moment, and it's not stationing direct until, I think it's, oh goodness, the 18th for the UK. I think it's the 17th. Shut the fucking window. The 17th for the States. But we do have that 2-week shadow period that follows afterwards, where that energy is gradually winding down. But we've had a lot of planets in retrograde recently, and all of those retrograde motions are about stopping and standing still and taking stock. And Taurus, I think taking stock is what you need to do, because there are new opportunities that are arising for you, and I think that they're going to come thick and fast on the other side of this energy. And so it's critical for you to get grounded, get sorted, get your house in order as much as you can, because things feel a little chaotic for you at the moment. I think that's probably the best way I can describe what I'm feeling. but they're not just chaotic outwardly, they're a bit chaotic inwardly too. And it's because of this emergence that is trying to happen for you at the moment. Like I can see a butterfly trying to push its way out of its cocoon, and at this point the cocoon has not split enough for you to make that movement yet. It's more, kind of flexing your wings against the inside of it so that the cocoon can actually start to split and let you out, but you're not quite there yet. I mean, this is a hell of an energy to be sat in. We've got the Death card to start right there, which is all about personal transformation. And for some of you, I think it's something that you've known was coming, but there's needed to be some sort of catalyst. It's almost like you could feel it, you intuited it, it was on its way. But perhaps you've been waiting for something to appear outside of you to indicate that it was time. And the message, with the way that I can feel those wings trying to press up against the against the edges of something, is that you create that. Right? You create the split that allows you to unfurl your wings and be what it is that you are meant to be. And if there's anything holding you back at the moment, likely it is up here rather than anything else. The Death card is the card of Scorpio, and it speaks to deep transformation. We are about to go into Scorpio season as I record this. I think it'll be like the 21st or 22nd of October, something like that. Okay. And the planetary energies that are at work at the moment are very much supporting shadow work, which is something that we would associate with Scorpio quite closely, right? But also like the turning of the year, at the end of this month, certainly in the UK, our clocks will be going back and it will be getting darker much earlier in the day. The energies are supporting an inward look at what's going on, rather than what I can feel is somewhat a sense of frustration. And I'm not sure that this frustration is directed outside of you. It feels like the frustration is directed within. So if there are things on your mind at the moment that just will not go away, the likelihood is that they're asking you to sit with them and open a dialogue. Right? What is going on here? What do I need to do? What do I not need to do? What are you trying to tell me? Because the next two cards that we've got, Gemini and Leo, respectively, with the Lovers and the Strength card. The Lovers can be a card of union. It can be a card of coming together with other people, but I'm not sensing that as the point for you here, Taurus. More, it's creating a sense of harmony within yourself, the need to create the harmony. The example of the butterfly is quite an interesting one, because none of us really know what the level of consciousness in a butterfly is. I mean, is there a change in the brain of a caterpillar as it transitions to a butterfly? Well, one would assume that is the case, but what is that? Is there a point where it just goes, oh, I'm a butterfly, that's all cool? Or does it take a bit of time to adjust towards it? We know that a caterpillar will dissolve literally into goo before reconstructing itself into a butterfly. It's absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Is the mind of the butterfly dissolved, mind of the caterpillar dissolved in the same way? Possibly. I don't know. I'm going to have to sit and mull on this one. But this is my point, right? Just as I said for you earlier this year, that most of you were walking around with the mind of a cow, forgetting that you were actually a bull and that you were powerful and that you were strong in this state of transition that you find yourself in at the moment. It's almost like you haven't quite caught up with where you are in terms of your spiritual development, in terms of your emotional development almost, right? So your body is reconstructing itself into this thing that is different to who you were before. But your mind is taking a little bit of time to catch up. And taking a bit of time to make peace with the new version of you. I mean, I wonder, Taurus, if actually half of the issue is that although you have been very diligent with the work that you have done, and you have seen those improvements as they have come, right? That there has been a deeper level of transformation that's been going on with you, that has almost gone on unseen by you. I feel like that's quite strong. And whatever sense of disconnect that you have at the moment, it really is coming from a place of not realizing how fucking incredible you are, how fucking wonderful you are, how fucking powerful you are. You know, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, Taurus. It's still finding the little things to niggle rather than relaxing into the state of being a Taurus in you know, one of my Tauruses in October 2021. Not really seeing how much you've grown, right? And the power that you wield. Now, like we've talked about this on and off all year, actually, Taurus. But I think that it's so much more than you have really acknowledged. You've done the obvious things. You've moved away from toxic people. You've stopped letting them interfere with your life, but perhaps a little, you know, shred of them remains in your mind. And I would point out that, you know, where attention goes, energy flows. If you are thinking about a certain toxic person or a toxic situation in your life, then you are feeding it. Better to kick it to the curb altogether and not give it a minute's thought. It's about taking that energy and focusing it in a particular direction, and a direction that is for your benefit. And really maybe taking time, taking stock of the situation that you're in at the moment and seeing how far you have come. I've said this to you a few times, Taurus, but really looking at how far you have come. Consolidating and working out your next move, because I feel like there's a move for you that's coming in from the universe. Do you know what I really like about this deck? I'm just going to point it out to you, like how many of the cards have hands on them, right? Our tools of work, the way in which we generally, you know, like physically interact with the world tends to be hands first. It's about the work that you do. So this is about you coming into alignment with the universe, right? By the things that you do, the way that you interact with it, with strength. I love this, right? It's about taking this universal force that we see here with the lemniscate, right? That is out there, and fashioning it by your will, because you can. There are new opportunities on the way for you, Taurus, but it feels like you haven't quite found that point of harmony yet with who you are. Like I said, it's catching up with you, or you're trying to catch up with it, but not realizing that that's what you were trying to do. Does that make sense? I feel like it does make sense. Is there another way to explain it? You've evolved so much in the last year and a half, right? And I think that most of you would sit back and go, yeah, I'm comfortable with that, I know that. But that evolution hasn't stopped. Just because you noticed it starting to happen, it doesn't mean that it was completed, not by a long shot. Instead, what you've got now is a situation where that evolution has been continuing on a very, very deep level. And some part of your mindset is still kind of stuck a little bit further back. So it's like, I'm going to stop here. Like, where is my energy going that it doesn't need to? Where am I conflicted with something? Where is there a tension? Because for you, I think it's about digging out the tension this 2-week period. It's about looking at what makes you feel uncomfortable and asking why it's there. Let's have a look and see why you are in this energy at the moment. I mean, I feel like I've explained it, but the cards always give me something extra. Why is Taurus in this energy? Please? That's the first one. Six of Pentacles. Actually, it's 6 of Stars, but it's 6 of Pentacles, right? Hands again. There's Taurus. it. I've got 2 there. Knight of Pentacles. Wow. Taurus. Holy shit. 6 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, right? Movement. Moving away from that old mindset. Like the Sword suit is all about, you know, the cerebral, the intellectual. It is about the primacy, the undue primacy, I think, that we give brains over heart. You know, it's a very 3D concern, the human brain. It takes in, you know, 3D information and it processes it and generally tries to keep you alive, right? That's its job. But as a spiritual being having a human experience, I feel like it's all about inverting that primacy and actually coming from the heart, coming from the emotion, coming from the spiritual side of things for you. I mean, is that not what you've been doing over the last, you know, 2 years? I think that it is. But leaving that behind, and more importantly, look at this. Look at what's sat right behind there. The 5 of Swords. Right there. Leaving behind all of the cognitive issues, right? All of the mental stuff where you go, oh, where your brain chatters at you at 2 o'clock in the morning and tells you you're an absolute, you know, shit stain for something that you did 25 years ago. I mean, we're not about that anymore. You don't need to fight with yourself and you don't need to fight with other people. Remember, you are valid because you exist. You are literally the universe experiencing itself. And you don't have to go over all of this. What you do is you take the information that gave you, you take the lessons that gave you, and then you walk the fuck away from it, Taurus. Right the fuck away from it. You know, under the light of the moon, right there. You know, guided by something higher than you, you know, the unseen, the subconscious. I mean, maybe even, you know, in dialogue with your subconscious. But as to why it is that you are here, I mean, there it is, 6 of Pentacles. Showed that to you already. But we have the Knight of Stars, which is the Knight of Pentacles. And then the Fool. More major arcana. The 6 of Pentacles is about balance and achieving balance, achieving equilibrium. And it's not with the world around you, Taurus. It's within yourself, as it ever has been. And I don't think that you noticed for the longest time, but these things you do notice now. You know, notice we've got a hand in there as well. Like the ways in which you balance yourself. You bring harmony to yourself. It's not about what's going on out there. It's nothing to do with that. It's about what's going on in here and the way that you choose to respond to anything, the way that you choose to, you know, what you choose to take from every situation that you find yourself in, every relationship that you have, good or bad, you know. And realizing that your importance comes from the fact that you're here at all. Nothing to do with anyone else, nothing to do with anything else. It's here. Knight of Stars, Knight of Pentacles, here's Virgo energy. Right. Well, remember, I'm always talking about how the Pentacles are energetic currency. Right? So in the Page of Pentacles is newly discovering the thing and being all like, this is cool. Like, you've done that stage, Taurus. You've discovered that there is a worth within you. The next stage for you, next stage of your evolution, is not just knowing it, but feeling it. And not feeling like you have to justify any aspect of your existence to anyone else at all, right? No compare, contrast with other people. Not necessary. You know, it's about you doing your thing, and you doing your thing with a singular point of focus that comes from the fact that you are the universe experiencing itself. This isn't just knowing your value, it's feeling your value, and everything that you do henceforth, having that value stitched into it somewhere in the lining, you know? And we've got the Fool. I love this. This is my favourite card in the entire deck, right? Look at that. It's about having the strength and the courage and the bravery to know that you can throw yourself off a cliff and you will land on your feet. albeit that you be a bull, you know. I am amazed that, you know, I don't make the rules, but there's nothing to say that a bull can't have butterfly wings. Why couldn't you have butterfly wings? You can do anything that you want, Taurus. You can be anything that you want. And just because you are a land-based mammal, it doesn't mean spiritually that you cannot jump, that you cannot soar, that you cannot be anything that you want to be. You need to feel this, Taurus. And I think that the whole point of this reading is that intellectually you appreciate this, but spiritually, soulfully, emotionally, there's still that little bit of tension. You haven't fully accepted it for what it is. You know, trust. Trust is a huge component of this card. And it's not about you trusting other people. You've never had a problem with that. It's about trusting yourself. And you've always had a problem with that. It feels to me very much like the universe has a plan for you, Taurus. I've felt that for 2 years now, and it's a big plan, you know, and you've contributed so much already to everything. Like, why would you doubt? Why would you doubt yourself? Let's get you some cards of advice. 3 cards of advice for Taurus, please. Oh, there's the first one. Yeah, we have the 9 of Swords. We have the 7 of Cups, or Moons, as it is in this deck. Oh, whatever that was, let's have a look. 2 of Cups, or Moons. The Moons in this deck. Let's see what we've got at the bottom. We've got the 9 of Wands here. I mean, you're not the only sign to have got this month. There it is, right? A 9 of Wands is all about resilience. It's about persevering. It's about boundaries too. And, you know, you've got very much better at drawing those boundaries with other people this year. But I feel like sometimes there's a need to draw boundaries with yourself as well. You know, draw boundaries with your past and say, like, I appreciate that you exist. I appreciate all the lessons that you have given me, and I will take those with me on the next step of my journey. But there's got to be some sort of filter here. This is, I'm just going to take those. I'm not going to take all the shit and the crap that came with it too. I'm not going to take that emotional, well, shitstorm that all of these things brewed up in me. You know, the 9 of Swords is that overthinking, Taurus. Have you been overthinking something recently? Well, if you have, it's time to step away from it and look at it differently, because it is a signpost for you. It is pointing to something that needs looking at, and it's not the thing itself, right? It's the feeling behind that. 7 of Cups, it's confusion, illusion, you know, things not being quite as they appear. You know, we've got a hand here that's trying to pick between these 7 moons, and they are effectively identical, right? There's nothing that's giving away the content of the moons, because it requires you to investigate it. And I'm going to bring you back again to the fact that it is Mercury retrograde at the moment, but there are other things at play. You know, if any of you are patrons, and so I did a small video about, oh god, week and a half ago, something like that, about what else was going on with Mercury at this time, and why we were probably all likely to be about to be, you know, tipped headfirst into a bucket load of shadow work, whether we liked it or not. Hey, don't fight this energy, go with it. What makes you uncomfortable? What confuses you? That's something to sit with. That's the thing to go in deeper with. You know, what makes you feel like this? And why? Not least, why do you allow it to make you feel like that, you know? We've got the 2 of Cups. For a lot of you, I think that this is going to be very strongly rooted in the relationships that you have. I mean, Taurus, you're a herd creature. You know, relationships are extraordinarily important to you, but you don't need to be liked by everyone. That's fine. If they don't like you, they're probably not your tribe, but it doesn't mean that there isn't something that you can learn from these people. You know, be open to the message as it appears. And sometimes the message is just the reaction that it engenders in you when you know, have to react to the fact that somebody doesn't like you. There are lots of different ways of looking at this. But ultimately, as the universe experiencing itself, our highest lessons come from our interactions with others. So in this next 2-week period, for you, I think that it would be really useful to look at the relationships that make you feel uncomfortable. Look at the relationships that confuse you. Look at the relationships that might have, you know, just a shade of this appearing somewhere. And rather than looking at that person, try digging deep and seeing why that is coming up in you. What is it reminding you of the past? Because there's certainly going to be something. And see if there's some way that you can make peace with that. Whether that is, you know, some sort of forgiveness, if you can find it within yourself to do that, that's awesome. And that is by, toward the other person. But forgiving yourself, Taurus, is a huge part of this. It's a massive part of this. I've never known a sign to carry around responsibility for everything in quite the way that a Taurus does. You know, it's about liberating your spirit and being a little freer. You know? You don't have to carry around quite so much. Now, I have to say that I do think that November will be a better month for you. What have we got under there? Yeah, the Empress is lurking around under there. But this is a very necessary and possibly potentially slightly uncomfortable time for everyone. Okay? And the way that we can use it, the most positive way that we can use it, is to step back and go, what is this trying to show me? You know the drill, Taurus. Now we've done it a lot. But this is asking you to go really, really deep at this time and allow yourself to shine, allow yourself to fly, allow yourself to soar, allow yourself to sink into and relax into who you are, you know? Okay, I've prattled on for ages. What's it? Nearly half an hour, sorry, not that much shorter. But yeah. Sorry, a whole heap of things going on there, but I'll save that for another time. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.